Everyone teaches you how to land a job, but nobody teaches you how to leave one. Your MP Pal here. Welcome to another lesson from the track. So today I want to talk about something I call the exit plan. Basically, that is how to quit with grace. Okay? So one of the first things you need to consider is why you're leaving. Why are you leaving this job? And unfortunately, a lot of times, because you're fed up, you've had enough, it's just not working out, you're not getting paid enough, you don't like the management. There's various reasons as to why, and it's usually small little deposits that have just built up over time, and you just kind of get to the point. And so even before you actually make the decision, that you usually been fighting with yourself for a while. So and what often happens is we typically will stay in a job for too long that you know is no longer aligning with your goals or what you're about. You're not happy anymore, and it's really tough. And so what happens with that, because you're already frustrated, you're angry, you don't like the place anymore, that's actually the time when you should be kind of considering making the decision to leave. Because if you go past that point, especially if it's the tension is constantly building, as just keep adding more things, then you get to the point where you just stop caring. And that's actually a very dangerous place to be. Okay, like you don't want to get to the point where you just don't care anymore, because what happens, you get careless, you stop doing the normal things, and then you end up just getting fired. So if you're kind of getting to that point, it's best to leave on your own terms. So what is the exit plan? Basically, that is the mental decision that I'm leaving. I'm done. I've had enough. So early on in my career, I was different, younger, not as mature. But you go in there and you complaining to the boss, you let everybody know how much you hate the place, you saying all of this stuff, you kind of let everybody know what's going on, and then those are emotional reactions. So that's why you kind of have to be careful. So this older version of myself, yes, I'm definitely more experienced. I have more time, and so I'm a lot more calm now. But early on, I didn't know how to really keep things in. You have to let everybody know, kind of go out screaming type thing. But what it is, you decide first, I'm done, right? So normally what people do, they start letting everybody know, I'm quitting, I'm leaving this place, I hate this place, blah, 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 the manager. So no, I decide, okay, I'm out of here. So I just quietly start looking for another job. Indeed, ZipRecruiter, whatever it is, talking to people, hey, y'all still have that position open over there. Put the application in, have the interview, go on the interview, get the job, get the contract, review the contract, sign the contract, send it back to them. Then that's when you put your notice in, okay? So another thing in this role is that it's not a 2-week notice. It's not 2 weeks and then you just make it to next Friday, oh, I'm good. No, in this role, it's like a 60 to 90 day process. So that's a long time to sit there, especially if you are kind of to the point where you're already frustrated, like you're already checked out. So that's very difficult. That's why you want to recognize the signs early, right? So if it's something where you just had enough with this place, like I'm tired of dealing with this, okay? So what I've seen over the years is that people will stay at a job because of their team, but they usually leave because of management, right? It's usually the boss, the supervisor, that will make people leave or quit a job. But to go a little bit further, a lot of times it's not even the boss. It's the way that the system is set up. Like, it's a system problem. You know what I mean? So even though the boss is the one that's kind of directly giving you the messages or maybe treating you some kind of way, they're usually receiving orders and commands from people above them. So that's one thing I learned just over the years, being a contractor, because I've had to pick up at so many places, you know what I mean? And so I just kind of show up and, okay, this is how we do it here. Because patient care doesn't change. okay, yeah, in the setting you may do things a little bit differently, but that part never changes. And so it's just how each place operates. Even working for the same company at different locations, each clinic runs differently. So I had to become very adaptable, and now I'm at the point where I can pick up the process very quickly, like how the place operates. I can kind of look around and I just observe it. I'm like, okay. So that's one thing that I've seen. And so knowing that it's a system and not the person, that hopefully should kind of help and not, kind of, it'll slow you down from maybe exploding on the boss. Because a lot of people, they want to, well, I want to give them a piece of my mind. I want to tell them what I'm thinking. I want to sit here even before you decide to quit. Again, a lot of it, it's bigger than them. Your boss may not be qualified. They may not be the best person, which often happens, because it's not all about the most qualified person. It's who's willing to take this seat. And so the last 3 people quit. The last boss quit, and the other person is a new grad. So you may have somebody with a year experience. Hey, you want an opportunity? And then they're your boss now. So they may not be, but it's usually something bigger than them, okay? So don't lash out on them. And my thoughts on having a conversation. So again, I'm at the point in my life now, I look at things from like an aerial perspective, right? I look at the entire process. And so if it's not the person, like that person really doesn't even have a lot of power, like your supervisor. They may have a little more authority, but they don't have a lot of power, like to really make any actual changes. So if you need to sit down and have a conversation with them to, if that's going to help you feel better, great. But how I approach things now, if it's not going to change anything, there's no point in even having a conversation. So my last few jobs I've quit, which in the past 5 years, I have quit a lot of places. I'm not going to lie. I was checking my drawer at my home office and I had like 7 batteries in there. And I was like, whew. Now, to be fair, 3 of those were like travel assignments, okay? So they were like 3 months. So it's not like I'm out of here, I'm quitting. But what has helped me make that decision is that I have personal standards, right? These non-negotiables, not just how I practice in my career, but in my life. So there's certain things in a job that I look for that will honestly easily make it easy if I need to leave or if I'm gonna stay there, okay? So and that's the crazy part, because it takes 90 days to get into a job, with credentialing and all the paperwork, the onboarding process. But I can recognize within the first 30 days if I'm gonna stay at a place. Seriously. So it does not take long to really kind of assess the place and like determine if this is a long-term place or not. But another thing is like knowing your limits, okay? Because a job it can be kind of like a bad relationship. You know what I mean? Like if there's red flags or there's some things that you just are against how you do, like, your moral compass or whatever it is, like if they do something that's unethical, that may not be a place for you. Because if it's causing inner tension and things like that, like, it's time to go. Because we've all had that coworker, that person that's been at the job for, 10, 12 years. They complain, they talk about how bad it is. They've gone through 5, 6 directors, and they know, and they'll talk crap all day long, but they will not leave. Right? Every place I've worked had that one person that just, oh, you know how this place is, da, da, da. And they have all the gossip, they have all the scoop, but they won't leave, right? Partly because it takes courage to quit, okay? It takes courage to say, I've had enough, no, right? Again, in a bad relationship, your partner is not doing what they're supposed to, not pulling away, they're not helping, it's just a one-sided thing. I'm not saying it's easy to do, but what I am saying, if you have those personal standards, those non-negotiables, that does help you make the decision earlier, okay? So not everybody has that courage, but I'm just the type where I'm not just gonna put up with any kind of thing. Like, part of my so a couple of my non-negotiables, I don't like to be micromanaged, and I don't like people talking to me crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just being disrespectful and things like that. And I've had some bosses like that. Or just being micromanaged. Like, you have all these people looking at your charting, and that is a pet peeve for me. So if a place does that, I'm probably not going to stay there long term. Okay. So my last job, when I was working in the emergency room, was kind of like that. Actually, no, not kind of. It was all of the things that were against me, right? All of my non-negotiables, they hit that very quickly, right? But at that point, I had quit so many times, and I was tired of quitting, like, I'm tired of starting a new job. I'm tired of looking for another job. And again, I recognized within the first 30 days, place is not going to work. I mean, just from the pay, the work, the demands, the outside time, it was everything. And that's when I went to the hope phase. So I knew all that stuff, but then I was like, I really hope this gets better, right? And then a few more weeks went by, a month. I'm like, okay, it's not terrible. Still don't like it here. And then there was a catalyst event, right? Usually something has to happen. It's like, okay, that's my confirmation. And it was very, very, one of the worst conversations I've been a part of. Like, condescending, disrespectful, just very demeaning. And when I walked out of the office, I was just like, this is the confirmation, okay? And the thing is, I was over the 90-day mark, but I was like, I already knew this, right? I was going against my own non-negotiables, things that I said I was not going to tolerate. So, again, what you don't want to do is leave emotionally, okay? Like, you don't want to go past your limit, because then you're already tense, and then you pass your breaking point. And then at that point, you blow a gasket. What's going to happen? Are you going to curse out your boss? Are you going to make a scene? Are you going to storm out? Now, I've never done that, right? Like, I've been frustrated. I've left a lot of places, but they were all calm. Like, they were all, it was clarity, because I felt it early on, and I knew that's probably where this is going to go. But yeah. So just remember, you even though it may be a tough situation, you still want to try to keep your reputation intact, okay? Because that's another thing. You never want to burn a bridge, okay? Even when the place is just terrible, it's you still want to leave with your reputation intact, okay? So if you can, put the notice in. Trust me, it's much easier now. You can just send an email. You don't actually have to physically go in there and hand it in and have a conversation up front. So my last ones, I just put an email in. Now, just know, the inevitable phone call is coming, okay? Like, you send that notice in, the call is coming, okay? So just already prepare for that before you even put the notice in. And so even if you're frustrated, even if you hate the place, I remember one of the 48 laws, I always say less than necessary. I still just I'll blame it on something personal, like something else. Like, I'm not going to beat the place down. Oh, I hate y'all. Y'all don't have any staff. I don't like the front desk. I've never done that. Just, this job is requiring a little bit much, or I'm stressed, or I think this setting for me is just to quit with grace, okay? Like, if you can. Now, sometimes it's rough. Sometimes you are upset, especially if they were not treating you properly, they're disrespectful. I'm not telling you what to do, just if you can. Remember, you can only give somebody information. What you choose to do with it is up to you. But, so recognize the signs, okay? Do not make a scene. Just mentally decide, I'm done. Quiet. Don't say anything. Don't even tell anybody. Don't even say anything, right? Because places gossip. Hey, I heard you're leaving. Oh, I heard such and such leaving. No. When they find out, I've already got the new job locked in. I've already locked it all the way in. I've already figured the next part out. Okay? So put it in, wait for the phone call. And don't do it emotionally, because that way when you have the conversation, and you want to leave with your reputation intact. The big thing with that, because you may have to go back to that place. You never know. Like, what if the new job doesn't work out? Which has happened to me too. Even the place that I did not like that medical director that I worked for. But that new job was worse than the one I didn't like. And so I ended up having to go back. And that was rough. But I had a family to take care of. So you just never know. Like, even if the new job sounds great, you never know what it's going to be like. So don't talk too much crap on the way out. You know what I mean? Like, so stay intact. But yeah, but just, it's hard in that waiting period though. That's 60 to 90 days, because you've already checked out mentally. Like, you don't care anything about what's going on in the company, the meetings. Don't tell me about none of this. It doesn't matter, because I'm already gone anyway. So protect your inner peace, okay? All right. Your NP pal here. Practice boldly, and I will see you on the next one.